Welcome to Darian's Lit Reviews, where we'll be talking about today Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. For this book, I don't know how I feel about it. And don't worry, this is a spoiler-free review. I really just kind of want to focus on characters and themes. I'm not really going to talk about the story at all, and then kind of just my grievances with the book. You can decide whether or not you like the book. As I continue to make more content, you'll know what I like and don't like, and then you can kind of adjust how you feel about going into a certain book based on what I say. I don't really want this to be a typical review because I know those can get kind of boring, but also I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle. So we're going to keep doing this until I figure out how to really talk about these books. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. With this book, I think with the characters, I think you get a lot of good character development. What I like about this book is character development doesn't necessarily mean for the better. It just means that their character develops in a way, in my opinion. It doesn't always have to be, maybe you could say character changes or something like that. I know development usually gives off the input of they became a better person, but also you got to think of the lens of who are you and what do you see as someone becoming a better person? Because there's things that you can change. There's things that, happen, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's for the better. And in this story, I think there's a lot of development. I think that even with the development, it's not as though someone becomes perfect. I think one thing that is popular in, I would say media, because I would be lying if I said books. I'm new to books. But in media in general, is that you want to see someone go from being the worst person you ever met to this perfect person. And what's beautiful about this book is that that's not always the case. People are still going to have grievances. There's still going to be things that allow people to maybe hold on to old feelings and hold on to how they used to be. And that may just not always be for the better. So what I like about this book is the character development. I could honestly say off the top of my head, it feels as though every character had some type of development, and it wasn't always front and center. Sometimes you would see a character and you would understand how they act in the present, but as the book went on and you learn more about these characters and how they used to be in the past, or just certain things about them, you'd be like, oh, they're a better person, or oh, I like them more, or oh, I dislike them more, or oh, I didn't. And I think that was a very beautiful part of it, was just character development without it being linear. There are times where there was ups, there was downs. Even when they thought the development was done, as you're reading the book, you could tell there's still some things these characters need to work on. And that goes from the children all the way to the adults. So I really thoroughly enjoy that part of the book. I think the biggest issue I have with this book is more so how it's put together, but we could talk about that at the end because I really want to get through the good, because I think there was so much good. It was just more so the structure of the book is what was holding me back. That's why I ended up giving it like a 3.5 on Goodreads. I'm sorry, but that's just how I felt. Moving on to the themes, because I think this is the most important part of the book. We get themes on motherhood, nationalism, themes on just relationships of all kinds. There's just so much stuff in here that really is relatable, even though this world necessarily may not be relatable. And we'll talk about that in a second, because I promise the bad is coming after this. But what I really like is seeing Misaki, who is basically the main character. We are seeing it from her point of view, but there are times where even seeing it from her point of view, you kind of see where the flaws are. It's like, she just said that in her head, but it's like, that don't quite make sense. And it doesn't make her to be perfect. But seeing her be a mother, I think that was very important to the story and very important to building this theme of motherhood, because motherhood doesn't always look perfect. I've been a father for 9 months, about to be 10 now, and watching my wife just go through trying to be a parent, being a mother, I think it's a difference. And I know people are, this may be bad, this might get me taken off YouTube, but I think it's different for everybody. As far as there's being a parent, then there's being a mother, and then there's being a father. And it's not as though each parent being a mother is worse, it doesn't matter. It's more so there are different roles, though. It's just as simple as that. It's different roles. And seeing her be mother, I think that it wasn't a traditional, what you would think being a mother would look like. And a lot of that is because of who she is as a person. And she understands those faults. And that's what we get the development from. But I think that just showing that motherhood isn't just, I wake you up, I give you cereal. There's no cereal in here, but you get the point. I wake you up, I give you cereal, I kiss your boo-boos, I send you to school, I tuck you in. In this book, we see motherhood be just so much more than that. And that could be protecting them from the outside world, protecting them from the inside, like as far as within your family, protecting them from yourself and your own fault. Like being a mother in this case just encapsulated so much. And I thought that was cool because it's not, so many times we get female characters that are mothers and they're all the same. You can copy paste, no matter the world. They may, to fit traditions, they may fit, be twisted a little bit because like, oh, in this culture, they don't necessarily do this. But in this culture, they do. In this culture, they don't. So you kind of see it be turned that way. But no, in this one, I think this can be applied to any mother and to help understand that it's not just a certain way for everybody. And being a father, I get to see that in this book and understand it a little more. I mean, I see it every day. I felt as though I had understanding, but this is stuff that I can't necessarily has happened to me, but being able to see it in this book is just like another layer to it and helps me understand it a little more. So if these situations ever arise, as far as just the complexities of being a mother for my wife, I know it sounds crazy because it's coming from a fictional book about, a lot of people compare it to the Avatar, but what I like about it is that there is some stuff to take away from there. And for me, I thought that was great. I could see someone being a mother and being in the trenches and saying, it's not like that, or, I didn't really pull from this, and that's fine. That's completely fine. I'm on the outside looking in because I'm not a mother. It's just different connection, different everything. But reading it, what I know, being raised by basically a single mother myself, it's just, I don't know, it just put a spin on things that I was already prone to. It's not as though this is like, so eye-opening to me. It was just more so nice to see. Just nice to see because even being in the situation I'm in, they're not sharing every single thought that they have with me. So I think that's just the beauty of it, of that theme of motherhood, of nationalism. What I really like about it is that there's pride in it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel as though nationalism has gotten to the point where it could be seen as negative, and this is not to get political or anything, but that's just what it is. On sometimes having love for your country is seen as a bad thing. But I think in this book they explore how it could be a good thing, but it also could be used against you. And even though you're doing the right thing, it can still be used against you. So I just think that there were some things in here on that side that to kind of open my eyes a little bit and just see it from different angles. Because the way I look at it is this. Imagine you just doing all the right things, but you're doing it from the wrong people or you're getting take advantage of that. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're doing what fulfills you. And what you're doing that's fulfilling is helping people. But when you think about it, is it really? And I think it's like one of those moments where you think you're helping somebody by giving them advice or helping them out or doing something. In reality, it may make things a little worse. And maybe no one even realizes it's making it worse. But if you sit back and observe it from a lens that's not your own, you kind of see, maybe I shouldn't have said that because they didn't need to hear that right then, or it kind of didn't apply to. It's just so many things. And I think that was the greatness of that was just being able to explain it in that way. And then the last theme I want to talk about, without giving away anything in the story, is just recovery. I think recovery is different for everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean that, everybody recovers in different ways. We all go through different experiences, which allows us to recover in different ways, but also it just doesn't look the same for everyone. It's harder for some than others. But I like that we're able to get that for different characters. I like that we're able to see it. While we're still seeing it from one person's view for the most part, I do enjoy seeing that. Maybe not seeing that because technically bad things happen, but I do enjoy being able to understand that it's just different for everyone. And it just makes you more sympathetic. It makes you more sympathetic to people. It makes you want to understand people a little more. It's just, I thought it was beautiful. I really did. I really enjoy just seeing like the aftermath of just outcomes. And I think that being able to be there for that and witness it just helps you really put things into further perspective of just how, of just what it takes. And I know it sounds crazy, but like it really is the definition of it takes a village. So yeah, that's it for themes. And there's so much more in this book that you could look at, but those are just like the three biggest ones, and that I would say I enjoy. But there's, like I said, so much more. Now it's time to get into the nice, not so nice things. I wish I could go on to talk about things, but I really don't want to ruin the book, so I need to find like a medium of how I can really go in depth about a book, but also not spoil it for people. But either way, what I didn't like about this book is strictly structurally, I don't know. And that's simply just because historic info dumps could not stand it. It was ridiculous. There was times where it wasn't needed. There was times where it was pages and pages of just history that in the end didn't matter. There were characters that it felt as though there was no use for them except to push the story along and to make a point. That didn't really like that too much. And then also it just felt as though there were times where I'm not even gonna say nothing's happening, because as the older I get, the more movies I watch, I enjoy the ones where nothing happens. It's all about dialogue and just feeling intense. Nothing always has to happen, but it really feels like nothing was happening. There were times where I would be on the Kindle and it'd be like, you have 50 minutes left to finish this chapter, and I read it and it's 50 minutes of absolutely nothing. There's no development, there's no themes, there's nothing. It's just dialogue that really doesn't feel as though it does anything for the story. It doesn't even feel like it gave me any backstory. And so that is something that really bothered me. I think this could have been edited down a lot. It was 650 something pages, and it really could have been 400 and something pages. I honestly believe it could have been edited down that much. I think the story, fantastic. I have no bad things to say about all of the story, but how it's put into the book and how it's structured and how it's worded, I guess, didn't like. The words that are made up, it's just like, why? And I know there's a glossary, but who wants to keep going back and forth? At some point you just start to I'm gonna just read it, and then I can tell by context clues. It's just a lot, and I felt as though a lot of the structure in here was very unnecessary, and we really could have cut this down. I truly believe that, but let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I know there's a lot of people that love this book, and like I said, story 10 of 10. I have nothing bad to say about the story. For me, as a new beginner, or someone who's just getting back into reading, I just thought this could have been structured a lot better. But once again, let me know what your thoughts are. I love the book. It's just how it's presented to me is what made it very difficult for me to. I just found myself like, I can't wait till this is over at some point, just because it really didn't feel like we were going anywhere. It really didn't feel as though certain stuff mattered. But what I got and what I was able to take away from, I think will stick with me forever. It's that kind of book. But I always will suggest you check it out on your own. I'm just giving you a preference, or like this is what I think. But you can look at it and say, well, I like those things, so I'm gonna try it. Or, okay, that sounds more immersive, because I guarantee you that's more what Wang was thinking, or Wang was doing, was that this makes it more immersive. And it does, but to a point, it's just like, it doesn't matter. And as I read it, I felt as though it didn't matter. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.